Hi everyone, so I was away for a week on business, and I came back, and I found that the tire that had a slow leak for the last couple of weeks, and the one was repaired recently before, now is completely flat. So I'm going to have to figure out how to change the tire on this Chevy Traverse, and put the spare tire on so I can get it to somewhere that can repair it. So let's see if we can figure it out. So here we are in the trunk, and the Traverse is one of those cars that hangs its spare tire underneath. So in here, in this compartment, there is a bolt that is what this tire is hanging from. So what we need to do is get a wrench, which is in this compartment. There's the jack in there, and there's a wrench. Everything was very securely velcroed in there, but there is this wrench here in the bag, which is the wrench for that bolt I showed you, and also for the lug nuts. There we go. Regular looking tire iron kind of thing. So let's get back under here. Up and make sure the wires are out of the way. There we go. And this should be lowering the spare tire under the car. Let's go and have a look. So there it comes, coming down. Keep going here. Very easy. Okay, let's try to hit the ground. So there it is, protected by plastic. So I'm going to get that out, and then we'll talk about taking off the existing one and putting this one on. Okay, so to get the tire out, I had to lower it low enough and get enough wire out so I could get it out from behind the car. And then you have to push up this piece beyond the bracket and turn it sideways so it'll fit through the hole, and then it comes off. And then what you do is you raise up the wire back so it's not hanging on the ground under the car, and then we'll go put the spare on. So I took the protective plastic housing off the spare, and now we're ready to tackle the flat tire. One important tip is to start loosening the lug nuts while the tire is still on the ground, because once it's up in the air it'll tend to spin. So we'll start loosening them a little bit, make sure they're coming off, and then we'll go and get the jack and jack it up a little. One nice thing, if you can see it, about this tire iron that they've given us is that it has this extension that folds out to give you enough leverage to really crank on these and get them loose. There it goes. Okay, so loosen them just a little bit so that they'll come off easily before we jack it up. Okay, so the lug nuts are just sort of enough loose that I can almost turn them, but the wheel's still secure. So let's get the jack out of the trunk, and we'll talk about how we attach that and use it. So the jack is secured in that same compartment we got the tire iron from, with this screw that goes in through here. You just take that out, move the jack. This is the nut that raises and lowers the jack. You want to be careful before you start this that the car is in a flat spot. Luckily I'm in the garage, so I know it's flat and stable. So we'll go and figure out where this jack goes, and I'll show you. So it's very important that you only raise the car off of places where it's safe to put the jack. And on the Traverse there's an arrow under here, if you can see it in the middle there, that indicates where on the frame you can lift with the jack. So what you want to do is take your jack, start raising it up a little bit, put it under about the right spot. There's actually a beam under there, and you can start raising it up. If it's easy enough, you can start it with your fingers like I am here. Start lifting it up to approximately the right spot, and then it's going to be difficult for you to see, but there is under here a piece of the car structure that's just a beam that fits into these slots here. So I'm going to put it under there and start raising it up. I've started raising the car with the jack, and as I said, you want to be very careful that the jack is sitting flat on a flat surface and that the car is on a flat surface. And as I said, I'm in the garage, so no problems there. And you just turn the jack counterclockwise until you have the car high enough up that the tire is free from the ground, and you can do the rest of the lug nuts and take it off. So I'm just going to keep jacking away here. Okay, after much jacking, I have managed to get the car high enough that the regular wheel will move slightly. It doesn't have to be as high as you'd think, because it was so flat that I can probably get it off without going any higher, because the spare is smaller, it'll fit on, and then I can lower it down. So let's get those lug nuts off and get the main tire off. So the lug nuts are off, and because we loosened them up before we lifted the tire up, they just came off very easily. Just turning it with my hand. So now what we need to do is carefully lift the tire up and out, being careful not to damage any of the bolts or anything. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. So there's the old tire and wheel off. It didn't take much, just a little pull to break it free from the hub here. So you can see the brakes and suspension. Actually a good chance to just check and see if anything looks like there's anything going on under there. This is a fairly new car, so it shouldn't be a problem. So let's get that spare on and get the lug nuts back on. Okay, so the spare is on, and as you put it on, you probably have to put a couple of lug nuts on just to hold it while you're getting it on there. The owner's manual recommends that you tighten them in a sequence that are staggered, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you keep the even force on it. I'm just finger tightening these down now, but I'm going to tighten them up in that sequence, get them to fairly snug fit. It does recommend a torque wrench, but since they give you your tire iron, you just got to get it to what you think is a decent tightness, and then head straight to a garage to get the flat tire sorted out. So with the lug nuts on the spare tire tightened up, now we need to just lower the car down until the wheel takes its weight. We can remove the jack and put everything back in the trunk. The spare is on, the jack is down and off and securely put away. One thing to remember though is that you can't store a regular tire under the car, you just have to put it in the trunk. But I did take a look, and I think I found where my hole was. You guys can see that there. It's probably what was causing the slow leak. Anyway, so job's done for now. There's the plastic container from the spare. So I'm going to put this tire in the trunk, head off to a place to get it repaired or replace tires. I may end up getting new tires for this car at this point with the winter coming. So if you have any questions, post them below, and subscribe. Thank you.